My name is Bjorn Bolstad. I now work as a head teacher of Ringstabbek Iskola. I have been working here as both a teacher and a deputy head, and now for the last 8 years I've been working as a headmaster of the school. The school was built in 1972, and at that time the Norwegian authorities, they built quite a lot of schools that were open-spaced. That was sort of fashion at that time. And in very many schools, the teachers didn't know how to deal with this open-spaced school, but at this school, the teachers, of different reasons, saw that if you have an open-spaced school, you can't do traditional maths and English classes. The students wasn't really engaged in what they learned in school. It didn't really mean anything to them. So they had to come up with a way of engaging the students to making the education relevant for the students. That was sort of a driving force. Today we have a school of 425 students, 8th, 9th and 10th grade, which is the last 3 years of the compulsory Norwegian school. We divide these students into two major grade classes. The biggest classes have got 75 students. 5 teachers should have all their teaching within this one class, and they should cover all subjects. They organize their own day of school, their own week. They put up their own timetables so they can themselves decide how to put the 75 students into different groups, what they will be doing, which subjects they will work on. We divide the school year into 6 periods, and each period will have a specific theme. For instance, it could be modern crisis. That would be a social subject as the main focus, or it could be energy, then there will be science as a major focus, or it could be communication. That would mean a lot of the language would be the main focus. Our goal is that the students should see that the reality is, it's all linked together. It doesn't consist of different school subjects, but it consists of a reality. Teachers will plan for different methods. For instance, they could do what we call a storyline, which is they invent sort of a universe that is similar to the real world. The students will sort of come up with the characters, and then things will happen to these characters. I think in most teachers or most people working with teaching, they would think that teaching is a linear process. My assumption is that in some cases it is, but mostly it's not. When we think of how we learn as human beings, we learn things quite chaotic. We learn things not linear. Most of what the students learn in school, they will forget. But if you put things together and if you engage people's feelings, people's opinions, and you try to make them find the answers themselves, then they would sort of remember it. So the best thing would be that the students themselves would realize that one of the reasons for the Second World War is the First World War, and they have sort of found it out themselves. That's something else than just a teacher telling them. We get very motivated students because they are able to work with something that either they are interested in or they get interested in. What we realize is that when they work for quite some time with the same subject, then they grow quite an interest on that. In our school, students work in groups of 4. They cooperate quite a lot. They get guidance from the teachers on their cooperation. They evaluate their cooperation. Then you train students for what they need when they are to work in the adult life. If you ask leaders of companies what kind of competences do they want the students to have, they want them to be cooperative, they want them to be able to solve problems, they want them to be able to think in new ways of new terms, they want them to be innovative. That's what we try to train them. 15 years ago, they would say that the students of Ringstabek, they were quite used to oral presentations because we've done that quite a lot. Now most of the other lower secondary schools do the same. So now they say, we don't see that difference anymore, but they see the difference that the students from Ringstabek, they're used to getting a task and solving it. They're used to sort of attacking a task. When they get the task, they try to find out how should we deal with this. how should we sort of work this out? How do we work together? That's how they sort of would spot the Ringstabbek students quite immediately. It's of course, as you ask, if it's challenging to work here, and the answer is yes. And for the teachers, it's a challenging way of working. Although it's demanding to work here, it's very exciting. It's very engaging, and both students and teachers would say that. So most of our students, when they leave school and when we talk to them afterwards, they say, "Oh, I missed the years that I was a student at Ringstabbek School because it was very engaging." And I think that's one of the best compliments you could give to a school. I don't want to quit school. I would like to stay here for longer, and that's what our students say.